Prepare to be amazed as two men, legally classified as vintage, compete to recall pop culture nonsense from a time when parents smoked in grocery stores and Ronald McDonald roamed free, judged and scored by artificial intelligence. Chris and Jeff sift through the glorious wreckage of a gleefully neglected childhood, hoping to find meaning. Nice pull, because if we don't remember this crap, you know damn well someone's gonna try and reboot it and make it way worse.
Well, Chris, I don't normally say this, but man, that was close. That was close. We both survived turning over on the odometer, right? To the big 6-0.
Mhm.
Chris and I were born pretty close to each other. So both of us have made it to
We have.
it's not a quinceañera, what do you call it? A sesenta.
Were you about to
Why
say
am I all of a sudden
quinceañera?
trying to...
It's definitely not a quinceañera, okay?
No, that's 15, for God's sake. This is four times that.
And you were the wrong ethnicity, and we were both the wrong sex for that, and wrong sex, but that's okay. Definitely the wrong age.
Yeah,
Yes,
wrong
it
age.
is. It is. If you'd like me to
Wow.
put on a froofy dress, that we can negotiate that. No, you're right. I was going to say we'd crossed over, but then that's definitely not anything we want to say at this point in time.
No.
That
We
crossed.
transitioned? Did we transition?
No,
we didn't transition.
Let's just. I think we go with the original. We turned our odometer over to yet another decade. At least now we're in the earlier the end the earlier part of that decade, right? We're starting anew, right? Which is completely ridiculous because we're in that decade. But yes, a number I don't think I definitely I never really gave much thought to, in the sense of I don't know about you, it's like 30 was like a big thing. It was like, wow, 30 years old. And they at the time I was working in this office, and they made they made like this big deal, because those were the days I was I don't know about you, but you probably remember I was the youngest person on my team in my whole department there. I was like the kid, and I'm just like, I kind of didn't like it, but in retrospect, I miss it every day. Right. And then 40 was kind of like, okay, well, a few things I have to rule out now that I am 40, and things that are definitely not ever going to happen. 50 is like this sort of,
Wait, hold on. What's not going to happen once you turn 40? I'm curious.
Well, it was like, I don't know.
Where did you, what did you go? Nope, I'm putting that in the trash can. That's never going to happen. Not in a million years.
I was never going to win a Grammy for Best New Artist, or I was never going to be NBA Rookie of the Year. Not that I was ever going to be any of those things, but they were definitely ruled out when I was 40. And then 50 was kind of like, oh man, I'm 50 years old. But then there was all this bullshit about, well, 50 is the new 40 and all this kind of like, all right, I'm just going to roll with that. Nobody says anything about 60. It's just like you're 60 and just keep on keeping on, right? Just kind of roll with it. You just kind of ponder it, you consider it, and you don't think much about it. I don't feel 60. I like to think we don't look 60. But then when you take a second, it's like, Jesus H. Christ, we're 60. What happened to us?
Well, and again, we've said this a trillion times. I will say that we do look better than people who were 60 back in the 70s. That's for sure. And this is nothing new that I'm saying. They have a bunch of memes about it. We've talked about it a million times, from Red Fox, as Fred Sanford, your favorite, Wilford Brimley. These people were in their like 40s when they were on these shows, and they looked like they were 85 years old.
Edward
minimum,
Asner.
Right?
Yeah.
All of these guys. Yeah. And Ed Asner, by the way, lived for a long time.
Yeah.
But, or Al
Way to go,
Lewis.
Ed.
Al Lewis, like we've said a million times, he looked like Al Lewis his entire life. I think Al Lewis was born looking like he was about, 58, 59 years old. Grandpa Munster, for those of you. Don't look it
until
up.
he
It's fine.
until he
Yeah.
morphed into Ted Cruz, who is now just sort of taken,
Right.
the Al Lewis
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, you're right, and I think one of those one again, we've shared those memes. I want to say that we are, and we're not sharing them now. You can go look them up on the Google machine. I think we are now even older than Coach was on the first season of Cheers. Everybody else was like in their 30s, and Coach was 58 years old, and now it's like Nicholas Colasanto. It's like, okay, we're here. We've made it. I mean,
Yeah.
how does it make you feel? I'm gonna put you on the spot right away. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts about it?
Well, putting to bed the whole thing about not looking our age, I will say that I may not look as bad as people did back in the 70s, but I do look my age. I know this because as part of my job, I'm a teacher, a trainer, basically, and I get kids that are 19 to 25
Oh,
years
they're even
old
that
all the
young. Okay, they're
time.
even 19. They're even I
I
was
mean,
gonna say 21,
we
22.
get a wide range, right?
Okay.
It could be
Okay.
someone who's my age, frankly, but it could also be a young kid, right? And um, the gist of it is, anytime age comes up and they want to know how old I am, and I tell them, they're always like, "Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I would have said." Like the most I'll get is, "Oh, you look more like you might be 58." Like the most I'll get is maybe they'll shave a couple of years, but nobody says 60. Oh my God, you don't even look close to 60. I did get a compliment though the other day, Chris, where the guy did say 60 and he completely freaked out, this kid in my class, but it wasn't
Mhm.
because I look so good. It was just because I know technical stuff and I'm speaking at a kind of a quick tempo and I'm kind of in the loop, right? So he just couldn't believe from a cognitive standpoint that I could be 60. In
You have a
his
s
mind, it's like, "Oh my God, how
you
do you
have
know
you have
these
a s
things?"
you have a smartphone, right? So he thinks, "Wow,
Well,
you don't have a
and I know how
jitterbug?"
to program it and use it, and I can open an attachment and I can send an attachment. So I think he was pretty blown away.
I don't know. My parent I mean, I know you have 2 older your sons are older than my 2 kids, but you're not yet a grandfather, correct?
Not yet, no,
Not
no,
yet, that you know of, right? The old joke. My
yeah.
dad became a grandfather when he was 52. So I've got 8 years so it's just like,
Mhm.
yeah, those kind of things. I remember we've talked about this when our grandparents were in their 60s. It was like, yeah, because we were teenagers or whatever. And that might have been they may as well have been 100, right? So
I will say that, yeah, I will say that I became an uncle when I was 10.
mm,
10! And that's because, again, my brothers were substantially older than me,
mhm.
and, uh, and so I'm sure they like hearing that when they're listening to the show. Substantially.
So you have a 50-year-old nephew?
My nephew, I think, is 13 years younger than me, and the other one, I think, is 16 years younger, so,
Wait, the
I
math's not
think
mathing. You
no,
just
the
said
math
to me
didn't math. No, you're
no.
right. Oh, yeah, 10
Come
years. Yeah, no,
yes.
of course. Chris, do you remember that first part of the show where I thought I had somehow I was using quinceañera as a term to describe so
Quinceañera. You're
anything's
talking about
possible.
okay, that's
Quinceañera. Yeah.
quinceañera.
So,
You're describing it
um,
like it's a car in the '70s, okay, with the commercials with Ricardo Montalban. Okay, so it's
so
not that.
yeah, my math isn't mathing, but you're right. He would be 50 years old. Holy moly. Maybe my brain doesn't want to believe that. But
Mhm,
we had a very nice birthday where it was perfect. Instead of making a big deal out of 60 and trying to do some giant extravaganza, I just felt so nice just hanging out with my wife and my
mhm,
son who is here in California and just having a really, really nice time, which was going down to Carlsbad and eating the world's greatest fish taco at a place called Harbor Fish Cafe, which is right on the beach.
mhm.
It's just the greatest thing ever. And I don't know what it is about Carlsbad, Chris,
Yeah,
but every time I go there, I just get calm.
you
Chris is
really
lucky
love
enough to live right near there, so it's just, oh,
you really love
man,
Carlsbad.
I do. I love it so much. And then for the evening, Chris, we went to a restaurant right here in town, and they
Uh-huh.
have the crab boil where you put the bag, and it's the plastic bag full of all
Mhm.
the seafood stuff, and that was pretty insane. So,
Mhm.
what more do you want, man? Very cool.
There's not much more you can ask for, to be
No. How
honest.
about you, Chris? What'd you do on your birthday?
I was in a place called Glen Cove, New York, for work, like having that dinner. So that the other one was just, it was very mellow. It was dinner with my son came down from school and just did again family time, that sort of stuff. Going out to dinner and having a few appetize, very mellow because I think
Ooh, Chris, did you treat yourself to appetizers? My
I
goodness.
did. I
That
did,
is did
absolutely.
once
Calamari,
every 10
you
years,
know.
Chris will get an appetizer
I wanted to
just to
keep it
say he did.
it's like those things, it's I don't know, maybe it may be down deeper because it was like, "What do you wanna do for your birthday? What do you wanna do?" And I've usually had these sort of, uh, juvenile excursions where I mean, we did end up playing miniature golf. A few years ago when it was a milestone, we went to the same thing, we went to play miniature golf and went to the batting cages, to sort of and played some video games and to sort of reenact. Now I was just too tired for that. I think it's like
You didn't get on the slide or the water
I
bugs?
did
No?
not, didn't do the
Oh, man.
go-karts.
Did you play
Um,
pinball? No pinball?
no pinball because again, where we were, it's just miniature golf. But I
Oh.
think at this point, it's again, and maybe that's part of the, when you think of the aging thing, you think of the stuff you even like to do when you were 40 or even 50, it's like, this is all I want to do. And I think those are what I think of like looks or health or why does my hip hurt and all those kind of things. Like I think the biggest thing for me where I think I've changed, where I've aged, is just like, man, I'm pretty easy to entertain. It's like I want low hassles. I don't want big crowds. I don't want, to be somewhere that's super loud. It's like, nah, just with my family and just having a good meal and just sort of being because we're always so spread out most of the time.
Mhm.
That's perfect for me. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a celebration for me as opposed to that's a good birthday.
You're like me. You don't want bright lights. You don't want loud noises. You don't want crowds of people, and you certainly don't want a commotion of any kind. If you can avoid all those things and just go someplace where everyone just
Completely.
shuts the fuck up, does
Yeah.
the job that they're supposed to do,
Right.
is polite, and I don't have to hear anyone speaking
Yep.
loudly at their table.
Hmm.
By the way, I I will say that the greatest thing about that crab shack place that we went to was
God, you love
it
that place.
was it was so noisy. No, no, this isn't Carlsbad. This is the
Oh,
one
okay.
in my city
The
where
bag of
they have the
crabs.
crab legs, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's so loud that I don't have to worry about being annoyed by other people's loud conversations because the whole place is just like you're I don't know what it's like you're in the New York Stock Exchange or something. So it was fine.
That's
But
funny. That's really
yeah.
funny to be it's the loudness, it all negated itself, But is that I think that's one of those things. Did you ever again, like we talked about it, I never visualized being 60. I never visualize it's like I said, these others kinda it just kinda happened. Like I said, the 30 was something, the 40 was kind of it, and the it's like those, but it's almost like it's very appropriate to me, I think, with the whole sort of Gen X culture because a lot of people in Gen X, if they're not 60, they're getting there pretty soon to the point of like, yeah, there's nothing to it. It just kind of slots in for getting talk about the baby boomers or talk about the millennials and talk about and we just kind of it's another way of indicative of getting lost in the shuffle of like, yeah, 60's no big, not a whatever. It's definitely better than the alternative, right? As far as so I don't think about it too much, other than had to get a new driver's license and all that kind of stuff.
Oh
And
yeah.
then, oh, this
Yeah.
is and the real ID and
Yeah.
that must wear corrective lenses. It's like, God damn it. Those
Yeah.
things all kind of sucked, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, they do, the real ID and the photo that they take,
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
all about high security, but the camera has 8 pixels. I don't understand why the DMV can't upgrade to even the simplest 2K. Don't even go to 4K, just give me 2K. Can I just get a K? I'll take 1K, Chris. I don't
And
know what that image is of me, but it doesn't look it's just when I flew recently and
uh-huh.
the TSA guy literally held up the photo and looked at me and just kept going like this 100 times. And I'm like, I know. I know. I don't know what that blob of flesh
Oh my God, that's
is
funny.
on that photo. It's freaking
It's
ridiculous.
like, wait a minute, is that my thumbprint? I mean, what happened,
Right?
right? I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and the thing about that at the DMV, it's like, here's the thing, because yes, it's all digital now, right? I mean, number one, I don't know why you couldn't provide your own photo, like a passport photo. Why can't I do that? Number one. Number two, they take a picture, and because it's digital and everything else, they can see it. They double check it to make sure your eyes aren't closed or anything. But then they
Mhm.
don't let you see it to say, can I mean, can I take another one? Can I do so? You know,
Yeah.
it's like they get to see it and approve
Yeah.
it, but you don't. And I know it
Yeah.
would make the line move even, but how much? I mean, really? I'm stuck with this thing for 4 years, maybe even longer if I get an. This could be the last driver's license I ever have.
Wow. That's a great attitude.
Well,
Look
no,
at you.
but the last time
This
I
could be it.
got the la- the last time I got like 4 straight extensions, I had the same picture for like 16 years. So
Wow.
if I have this
Yeah.
picture for 16 years, by then I might think, yeah, I'm done driving. Maybe I'll just be like driving Miss Daisy or something like that and have somebody to drive. I don't know. But this
I don't
could
know
be
what's worse, having a good driver's license picture and someone actually sees it and goes, "Oh, shit, you used to be really good looking." Right? It's like too good of
I
a
never had that
picture.
problem.
Right, or the opposite, right? Which is, Jesus Christ, what the hell? My
Mhm,
God. I don't know if I'm ever getting another driver's license again.
mhm.
We don't know what's gonna happen after 60. I think we both agree, and we've said this before, we still feel in our brains like we're 18 or 19 years old. Like, you can
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
very similar. I think the only thing different, please tell me if you feel the same way, is I've at least become, I know it doesn't sound like it by the weird shit that I say, less reactive. In other words, when I see crazy shit happening in front of me that normally would get me all riled, I still notice it. I still label it in my mind as, "Oh my God."
Mhm.
But I feel like it doesn't trigger me as much anymore. I feel now more like I'm watching a TV show, and all the stuff that used to either get me kind of like excited or maybe angry or maybe frustrated or nervous. It's just more now like, huh, I'll be darned. Look at that. Click. I just, I guess I just don't connect to it as much anymore.
Or you just
Is
don't
that,
give a shit anymore, right? I
maybe that's
mean,
what it is. Is
the
that what I'm
things
saying?
I think the things that don't upset you, versus, it's like there's things like, "Yeah, man, I'm just too old for that shit. I don't care." It doesn't bother me. Although you may have the newer things that bug you. Perfect example, it was like literally and then it's funny because now it's like, wait a minute, maybe I'm getting close to that category. It's like I I try to go to get a haircut, right? Early in the morning as soon as this place that I go to, this barber shop, right? I go there and even though I get there 10 minutes early, I'm third because I'm trying to get in and get out because I can get back and go do some actual work, right? And then I get there and I'm third in line behind 2 guys that are 25 years older than me. And I
Hmm.
was like, "Really? What do you have to do right now?" Okay? It's like, I know I'm no young kid, but compared to you, I am. And yet you got all freaking day, and yet you gotta get there to get your hair so then go do what? Go stand in line and screw somebody else up? You know what I mean? It's like, so
But,
those are the kind of things that
but
that
But even at that age, Chris, you have to believe that anything you're doing is important, right? Because if you don't, what do you have left, right? Old people, they're going super
oh
slow.
my
They're not
god,
paying
that hurts.
attention. They're
That
just
hurts.
walking straight. They're blocking the door to Ralph's or
Uh-huh.
Albertsons. They just walk across the parking lot like nobody fucking
Uh-huh.
has a car or is going to run them over. But in their
Okay.
mind, this is a super important thing that I'm doing right now. And what choice do they have?
None.
Right? They're right there on death's door. They may as well try to believe that anything they're doing is important, right? By God, I'm gonna mail this letter, son of a bitch. I'm gonna get to the post office and you'd better not,
Yes. Ex This may be the last letter I ever mail. May you could be
right?
correct
They're
if
not
I
even thinking that though. They just think, I've
or they
gotta
are
do
thinking
it.
that. They are
Maybe they
thinking
are.
that, and
Maybe they are.
I gotta mail this
Yeah.
before somebody finds my, calcified, mummified corpse 6 months later.
Mhm.
Um, I guess I don't know. There's my perspective has definitely changed on things like that. Again, with the things that I don't, it's probably a trade off. I think if you ask anybody in my family that I still get upset for stupid things, they're just different stupid things, right? And I think
Name one.
that more a different stupid thing that I get. Um,
Yeah.
it's still sort of that.
People
it
interrupting me when
in
I'm trying to say something,
Prob
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff. Probably in the pub. Again, I still think I have a hard time drivers, okay, where it's
Oh,
just like
yeah.
if I'm
Yeah.
to the point where somebody's driving like an idiot
Yeah.
and it may be a 7.5 minute drive, but
Mhm.
by the time I get home, I have to share that story. It didn't okay, the guy was a jackass, it was mildly unsafe, maybe I had to hit the brakes, maybe I had to change it, whatever. But it's like, I may forget to do something on that way home. I may have forgotten to pick something up when I was out. I may forget about something I need to do when I get home, but I remember every freaking detail down to the make and model and color of the car of that jackass driver. So
Oh, yeah.
those are the things where it's just like, and that before it'd be like, but no, I have to I can't let it go. I have to tell that story. And sometimes it may come out like 45 minutes later. You know what I mean? So it's like, I can't suppress it.
Chris, to your excellent point, which you may not even have tried to make there, I'm the same way. I know that I will never be a Zen, nirvana, transformed human because of traffic and because of what happens on the road. I can never, I'm never going to be at a point where I go, huh, I observe that you just cut me off and then hit your brakes,
Mhm.
and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I accept that, and I will now reduce my speed accordingly. That is never going to fucking happen as long as I live. It'll never, ever happen.
Uh-huh.
So I'm doomed. I'm doomed to come back to earth a million times, and it all has to do with that. And I never thought I would be the guy, the douchebag in an electric car that
Mhm.
just feels like I'm on the road with a bunch of lawnmowers. They're
Mhm.
just so slow. And I know, I hear the words that are coming out of my mouth. I sound like the biggest asshole. Did I ever think that I would be the guy in the Jetsons, super fast electric car? No, of course not. But Chris, it just feels on the road like I
Mhm.
am driving behind a lawnmower. And I'm so impatient. I need to go to therapy. I
Mhm.
think. I don't
I
know.
I I I have a neighbor that has, like you see those. They're pretty popular now at Halloween. Like those big. It's like a 10 or 12 foot skeleton that people like
Oh
put
yeah.
in their front
The
yard.
Home Depot skeleton. Yeah.
It's massive. It's
Yeah.
massive. It's anatomically correct. It's pretty cool. Um, uh, I have a neighbor who has one of those in her
Wait,
yard.
wait, how can a skeleton be anatomically correct?
Okay,
I'm an idiot,
well,
sorry.
not
Does it have a
anatomically correct,
Oh,
physiologically,
oh,
skeletally
okay.
attacked.
Oh,
It
okay.
looks like
Sorry,
it's
gotcha.
perfect. It's got the right amount of bone. You know what I'm talking about. God damn it,
I gotcha.
semantics.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
so I have a neighbor with one of those. It's in her yard right now.
Oh, still?
Still, it's been in her yard for about, I think, 3 going on 4 years.
Oh, years. Okay.
Years. Now, no,
Wow.
we don't have an HOA. We don't have anybody walking around with a clipboard making sure that people are trimming their bushes and that they're not stuff over the fence. We don't have any of that.
Mhm.
However, I've got a 12-foot skeleton in me. And I have to drive, live on a cul-de-sac, as you know, and I have to drive past it every day. I cannot not drive past it.
Is it possible that she has forgotten that it's there and she can't she's lost the ability to see it? It's so big and so obvious that her brain just can't even see it anymore.
Well, about a month ago, in some really bad high winds and storms, it fell down, and
Oh, no.
a couple of the pieces, a couple of the limbs were busted.
Yeah.
It is now back up. It's intact, and it's
Oh.
buttressed by chains holding it up. So she definitely
Oh.
can see it. She definitely knows
Okay.
it's there, and she definitely has taken great pains to make sure that that does not happen again. It bugs me. It shouldn't bug me. It's like you can drive past it and not really see it because it's kinda up close to your house and there's, like, palm trees, but it's just I don't have to look across. I don't live across the street from her, so I don't have to go out my front door every day and see the skeleton. But there's a 12-foot skeleton in my neighborhood every day. 1 month out of the year, it looks great.
You ju you just nailed it there because I would be running those scenarios in my mind if I was her neighbor. I would be thinking what I just said. Is it possible that she has dementia? Is
Yeah,
it possible that
she's
she's
younger than
just
we are.
a sweet lady that has a bunch of other things on her mind and she's
True.
literally just kind of forgotten that it's there? But
Mhm.
then when you tell the story of it got partially knocked down and she had to then make a decision. She
Uh-huh.
had to make a decision and her decision was, "Oh, the skeleton. I'm going to have to spend at least an hour, right? Putting it
Uh-huh.
back together, finding a way to get it braced against something that's a lot more stable." She put thought into it. She made a project out of it to ensure that it could stay up year round.
Go to Home Depot, get some
That
chains, um, and
now
and
that Chris is actually I know it sounds like I'm joking, but that's kooky. That is somebody that is actually clinically insane, and they
well,
might either be manic depressive or bipolar. That sounds like somebody that is cuckoo. There's something going on there.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
make any accusations like that.
I am. It's a fucking nut job.
I would only be there, but I will say in my defense, and I do have one that I was not
Why
when
do
that
you
thing
have to have a defense?
well,
She's crazy.
when it was down on the ground and when it was in pieces, there was more than a few people on my block who were like, "Oh, uh-huh, maybe this is it. Maybe it's finally going away." And, that was not the case. So,
Hmm.
I don't know. Again, there was a time that wouldn't have bothered me. There was a time just like I don't know if you've ever had renters and for whatever reason, same thing. 2 houses over, we've got somebody that's been renting their house for years, and for the most part, they just keep every year when the lease is up, they just rent it to a crazier and crazier and crazier person, and
Sure.
with, like,
Yeah.
out of control kids and making a lot of noise and doing whatever,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things going because I can remember that's when I turned into my dad and talking about, you don't want renters on your block because they do all this kinda they're loud and
Right.
they don't care and they could ruin your
Right.
property values, and I'm like, holy shit, he was right. Holy shit, I'm old because I'm thinking about those things. You know, that's when
Chris,
the dial has turned or, it's the page has turned to that age.
I really didn't hear anything you said because now I'm obsessed with Skeleton Lady. I can't get my mind around what is happening in her brain. And I'm wondering, hear me out. I'm wondering what would happen, and this would obviously be easy to do because she's not very observant, is one night it just disappeared, right? It's gone. And it'd be very easy to do, right? Someone takes the skeleton and she wakes up one morning.
With bolt cutters, maybe.
The first question is, would she even notice that it's gone? Would she actually notice? I guess she would. But the next question would be, does she then go straight to Amazon and immediately order another one and and then put it up as fast as she can? Because if she did that, then we would have our answer. Then we would know she's truly insane.
Okay.
What do you think she would do? Do you think
Maybe
she
she
would just
has
have it up within a day or two?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's another reason I know this.
What if it got stolen twice? Think about that. 2 times. No, I'm kidding. All right.
She has because she has regular now this is like 10 or 12 feet. She has 2 regular sized skeletons
What?
sitting in a bench on her porch. One's, I
Wait,
guess, a woman because she's wearing a floppy hat. So this is why, yes,
In addition
in
to the
addition,
big skeleton.
I
Chris,
didn't.
why didn't you tell me that? She
I
has a
buried
12.
the
I
lead
love the fact that the 12-foot skeleton is all you really care about. I get it. But you're leaving out the part that there's multiple skeletons on the property.
because the other ones you
Multiple.
can't really see. You have to be looking for them because they're back. It's on the porch.
Oh my
It's dark.
God.
You have to really know. They're not as obvious. So maybe maybe I'm just old and cranky. Maybe I just don't like oversized skeletons. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
do
Chris,
not
you're the
know.
one that's crazy. Yeah, not her. Okay. I don't know. I mean, it is America. I guess do what you want. I don't even know that it lowers the property value. Like, it's so weird. A skeleton, I mean, a yard car would lower the property value, right? Like, if you had some gutted out car on cinder blocks. Yeah. Yeah. But a giant skeleton, I don't know. I don't know what that does. We are in uncharted territory. Christmas decorations being left up, that's more common. Halloween? Wait, Chris, is it even a Halloween decoration? Maybe this is something different. Maybe there's another reason for those skeletons. I don't know.
There's some good stuff about turning 60, I guess. I mean, I think that's the way I have to look at it now, right? Better than the alternative. Um, I don't know what they are. Um, a lot of people, you know, like you said, 60, not to make the comparisons, okay, but like Brad Pitt and George Clooney and Keanu Reeves are all older than us.
Mhm.
Now, not making those comparisons, but like you said, and I
Thank
know
you.
there's
Please
people
don't.
that like people sometimes I think again, I was reading somewhere, it's like some people don't make their mark until they're 60 or really take a second sort of, have a second sort of, I don't want to say life, but like just sort of, I guess it is a second life. I don't know what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? But maybe it's definitely not all bad.
No, 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 it's awesome. Yeah,
Talk to
no,
me. Talk me up. Talk me off the
if you
ledge, Jeff.
if you have your health, and people that love you, we all know we've all seen the Hallmark movie. It's awesome. I will say that speaking of a second chance or a
Mm-hmm.
second surge where you're really at your peak,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I have a really good friend. She's a very talented comedian that I've known since the 90s when I was first performing at the Comedy Store down in La Jolla. I I went on and had kids and had a family life and did all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and it was just part-time. This is a person, her name's Karen Rontowski, who never gave up the
Shout out to
dream,
Karen. Mm-hmm.
always kept at it. Back in the day, she was so sharp, and her comedy is just, like, so well written by her, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just next level, very well crafted. It's old school comedy. You don't see a lot of it anymore. It's just laugh, 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 hilarious. And I hadn't seen Karen in person in, gosh, like, what, 30 years or more?
Mm-hmm.
And she was in town, down at this, club called the Mic Drop, down in San Diego, and I thought,
Mm-hmm.
"Well, now I'm gonna check out Karen Rontowski, haven't seen her in a really long time." We sometimes do a podcast together, which is, paranormal stuff. She
Mm-hmm.
loves the aliens and the ghosts and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and so, Chris, check this out. I go down there with my son. We're hanging out. We go in the green room. We talk to her. She's awesome. She's the exact same age as you and just doing great. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought, wow, good for you, man, because comedy can rip your heart out and take
Uh-huh.
75 years off your life just living in weird hotel rooms and airports and traveling and just,
Mm-hmm.
but so it's all going great. She gets on stage, it's sold out, it's a packed room, all there to see her, and she destroys the room. I mean, she kills it. It is the best comedy that I have seen maybe in the last 5 years, and she does 45 minutes of the funniest stuff. I had to write shit down because I was laughing so hard. My son and I are a tough audience, and she killed us. Then, get this, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
then she goes, "Now we're gonna switch over to psychic comedy." And she sits down and she does tarot readings for the audience, and half of them are there just to get a psychic tarot reading. And by the way, although she makes jokes, she really knows how to do this. She knows how to read tarot cards. So she's doing crowd work. And it just became this complete event where I'm like, who the fuck? How? What? We're doing a tarot card reading and another hour goes by of just that. And it's absolutely side-splittingly hilarious. What's the point in all of this? She's our age. She
Mm-hmm.
never gave up on that dream. And now she has suddenly started to explode all over the internet, and she's starting to get really big gigs,
Mm-hmm.
and I can smell Netflix or something happening, I'm sure, in the next couple of years. So,
Weren't we
it
supposed to
just
have her
shows
on?
you.
We better get her on
Yeah.
before she gets too
Yeah,
big.
no, we're gonna have her on as a guest for sure, but I'm, I guess my point in all of this is how cool that after all that hard work and talent, to start to see it really pay off at
Mhm.
at this age.
That's encouraging. Again, it doesn't feel, 60 is different than it used to be. We're not our grandparents. We're not Abe Vigoda. We're not even our parents. I think it'll sink in and I think it feels good. Um, but there's some trepidation and there's some, trepidation, hesitation, whatever you want to call it, as far as like what, because it is a pretty big number. Like you said, I still look in the mirror and I'm like, I'm still the youngest kid. I still have a lot of things that I feel like as a kid. Maybe I feel juvenile. Um, I definitely can't physically do the things I used to do. I can't jump off a boat like you did, 25 feet of water.
Well, neither can I, clearly. It's a cliff. I wish I just jumped off a boat. It was yeah, a 30-foot cliff. Yeah, that's right.
We're beyond middle age, right? I think that's the hardest part is to see, because I think middle age starts. We've been in middle age for a long time, and we're
Yeah.
just a couple of years away from the senior discounts, and we've been getting the AARP crap in the mail for years. I mean that
Yeah.
shit has gone on forever, but I think it's the little things that sort of nudge up. And again, you've got your sons are in their late 20s. My oldest is not quite 22, but I got a 13-year-old as well. So I have to have that balance of
Mhm.
like still being able to be at that parenting stage. I mean, I'm telling you, you're happy you're not parenting a seventh grader anymore. I know you are without you even having to say it.
I will say the coolest thing about just living in the year 2026, regardless of whether you're 60 or not, is the future has made good on a lot of my childhood comic book promises. Not everybody has a flying car, but they're out there.
Still waiting on the jetpacks. Still
Well,
waiting
they
on the
have
jetpacks.
jetpacks, right? So jetpacks
Okay.
exist, flying cars exist. They're not scaled down to super easy for
You
anyone
can't
to
get them at
afford, but
Costco. Yeah.
well, I don't think we're too far off from that. But I will say that again, with electric cars and cell phones and now AI, and I know we go back and forth on this. AI is, we've all seen the Terminator. We all know what to expect. And I'm sure, Chris,
Skynet.
we will, yeah, eventually it will destroy us as humans. Maybe it
Mhm.
should. But I am so excited about what's to come next in the next 10 years because for someone like me that's always wanted to make movies and do creative stuff and have
Mhm.
these high concept visions, which I could never get money for or a production company for, now with
Mhm.
AI, it's all there. Like, it's going to be amazing the content and the creativity that we now see over the next 5 to 10 years from just
Mhm.
people using regular tools to express this
Mhm.
whole new level of content. So I'm super excited. I'm pumped about that. But I'm still going to get pissed if somebody cuts in front of me. I can't not do that part.
The neck skeleton is still gonna bug me no
Yeah.
matter what. So,
Yeah. We can't
um,
get past that. Yeah. Well, Chris, now the skeleton is haunting me. I don't know if you know that, but I think I'm more upset about the skeleton than you are. Not even upset, just pondering what the F is going on there.
the next time you're by, you will see it. You can look for it.
Yeah.
It's 2, 3, 4 houses away on the same
Hmm.
side of the street. So, other than that, I could go on and on about being 60. You could go on and on about being 60, but getting a little tired. So, I don't know. So I think, until next time, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Chris. Happy birthday to you too. Until
Welcome
next
to the
time.
60s. Until next time.